Well, I'm still looking for my scene, but I think I might have found it here, between the pages of your scene. What's my scene?
Hello, Mary.
Hi, how's it going?
It's all right. You okay? Can you hear me?
Good.
You can okay?
Yep, all good.
Great.
All good. Thanks so much for joining me.
You're welcome.
It's a real honor for me to interview you.
Well, it's not an honor, but
Well, let's talk about this tour coming up. So it's going to be a new electric solo tour. It's a bit of a change for you going electric, is that right?
I think the last time I tried to perform solo electric was in London in 1987 for a Red Wedge concert that I played. I think it was the only concert I played that wasn't with the band that year. Since then, anytime I played solo shows, they've all been acoustic. I just got thinking I don't want Folksinger on my gravestone. I've been doing it for so long and I enjoy it. I just feel like there's something about the acoustic guitar which has got, it's kind of loaded. It makes you think protest song, folk song. The electric guitar, I think, is a much more open and less defining image. So I'm hoping that my final image that people have of me is with the guitar. On the other hand, it might go really badly, and I might just go back and say, "Well, you were really good at the acoustic show." I'm pretty serious about it. I'm practicing every day. I mean, obviously, I played a lot of electric guitar in my life, but never solo, other than that one. So it's quite different. It responds in a very different way to the acoustic. There's certain things that work better, and there's certain things that don't work so well. And so it's going to be a work in progress. Fingers crossed. Yeah, it's the first tour really. I'll be in New Zealand before I get to Australia, but this will be the first proper tour without the acoustic. So fingers crossed.
You've toured Australia a few times. What keeps you coming back to us?
Promoters keep asking me to come back. I'm very grateful. I always love visiting there. If I have an opportunity and the tour makes sense, absolutely. It's my job these days, you know. I mean, touring is probably more my job than making records. I am trying to make a new record in between tours right now, but yeah, if the offer comes along, sometimes travel is very inspiring. Sometimes it's just exhausting. The schedule on this tour is quite civilized. There's no concerts on the same day as flying. That's always scary when you're flying the same day. You go, well, what if it's delayed? What if they lose my guitar?
Your set this time will span from Rattlesnakes to On Pain. How do you even start choosing songs from that huge catalogue?
Well, I think honestly, there's probably a core of about 10 or 12 songs. If I play Brand New Friend and I don't play Lost Weekend, I don't think people have got any cause to be upset. But if I didn't play either of them, or if I didn't play anything from Rattlesnakes, people might be upset. So I'll work on the core of the set first, and then I'll just think, well, what haven't I played for a while that I'd quite like to try on electric, and also what do I think is going to sound better on electric. So there'll be definitely some, like there's a song on that record called Bad Vibes called Mr. Wrong, which I know is going to sound lovely on electric, whereas it never quite sounded right on acoustic. So I'll probably put that in the set. Trying to get a hang of what feels right and what doesn't feel right. And I'm also working on getting the guitars not quite built. The guitar that I'm using is based on one that my son owned, and it sounded better than my Telecaster. So I set out trying to find one exactly like his, but of course they stopped making them. So I had to find one. I found one in Tokyo, and I found another one in Italy, and I bought both of them so that I'll have two guitars that'll be perfect for the show. For a tour that's a brand new tour, there's quite a lot of thinking involved.
Your last album, On Pain, do you mind if I just go through a few of the songs?
Whatever you want to do.
Ask you people. Yep. I love The Idiot, by the way. That's one of my favorites.
The Idiot, I think, will work in the set. I found a way to play The Idiot with just the one guitar, and I think it'll still work on electric.
What inspired that story? The Idiot.
Well, the Idiot is the only song on the record I can probably say it was very simple. You know, it's written. Yeah. It's written from the point of view of somebody who may or may not be Iggy Pop in Los Angeles in 1976 in a really bad way, talking to his friend David Bowie and suggesting that they need to get out of Los Angeles, they need to go somewhere else to have a healthier life, and so we'll move to Berlin. And I think it's I don't have very many songs that I would say come from a sentiment that is just lovely, but I do think it's a lovely sentiment. It's two friends saving each other.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I love it. Yeah. What about On Pain? What sparked that mood?
I remember that's one of the few songs that I've written without an instrument. In that I wrote the melody just singing it into my phone or in my voice recorder without the chords. And then when I recorded it, I started working on these textures that you can hear on the record. I didn't really know what key it was in or anything. I just thought it sounds quite nice with these textures. And it was only after I'd been working on it, getting to the point where I had to know what the bass notes were, that I finally figured out what the chords probably were. So it was written in a strange way. It's a nice lyrical take for me on the same old story. The unreliable narrator who's also an unreliable man. But you do find you expose yourself to your own weaknesses. Sometimes you find that you've got strengths that you didn't know about as well.
Yeah, it's very thought-provoking. Yeah, love it.
Thank you.
In 2024, you mentioned taking time off for treatment and addressing things at the root. If you don't mind talking about it, what happened and how are you feeling now?
Great. I was just working too much, I think. I was just on a cycle of working too much and relying too much on sort of alcohol to wind down at the end of the day. And I just had a sort of, not like a breakdown, but I had a sort of an epiphany when I was in Portugal that I can't go on with this cycle. And so I just took some time off. I went away and took things out of my own control for a while, and I'm spent quite a lot of the year completely sober, and now I'm in a better place. I'm drinking, but I'm not drinking like I used to at all. It just kind of crept up on me. I always enjoyed drinking. I remember when I told my mother that I was like, Mother, I'm doing this because I became an alcoholic. And she's like, you're not an alcoholic. I was like, yeah, I am. She's like, no, you just like a drink. I was like, no. But there's a part of the sort of machismo side of me that feels like I failed and I'm not Hemingway. But I'm better.
That's good.
Lots of things that I thought I couldn't do unless I'd had a drink, I can do all of them.
Fantastic. Yeah. It's difficult when we feel like we need to rely on something.
It is. It is. And you know, the thing with me is I knew I was, you know, I knew that it was quite possible that it could go terribly wrong. I didn't want to die just because I like whiskey.
Yeah, yeah. I'll think about that next time I have a bourbon.
I'll definitely have one or two. Just, you know, just
Yeah,
don't keep a bottle in your
yeah,
office.
yeah. Good advice. There's a few themes I feel like on aging and perspective and reflection. Will you just try to naturally work things out, or did you intentionally come up with these themes?
I just write about what interests me, I guess.
Yeah,
I don't really think about it. I find myself writing from the point of view of an older person because I'm older. Sometimes when enough time or distance has passed from an experience, you can observe it. Sometimes even your own behavior you can observe. One example, I had the phrase "more of what you are" in my notebook for years. I think I had it there as early as about 1992. And I think the reason I had it there in 1992 is I heard a cokehead in London talking about why he thought cocaine was really good, because he said it made you more of what you are. And I just thought it was really funny because obviously it makes you a bigger asshole. Uh, and so I think I made a note of that, thinking write a song based on that. And then I didn't really want to write a song pointing fingers at assholes. Much more comfortable writing from the point of view of the bad person rather than pointing fingers at the bad person. I don't like punching down in songs.
yeah,
And I feel like I did it in 1993, that year, with Bad Vibes, a few of the songs on that record. And I regret that. I feel like I know some of the work is good, but I just don't like it. I don't like punching down. So I was working on something else in maybe 2023, 2022. And this idea that as we get older, we become more extreme versions, like more distilled versions of what we are. And even our faces look more extreme. If we've got sunken eyes, they become more sunken. Or if we, you know, so we sort of become caricatures of what we are. Or just, and so I thought it would be interesting to write a song from the point of view of a writer that was a particularly famous person. And in fact, I was thinking Hemingway when I was writing it. The idea that when you walk into a room, you're just so used to the immediate silence when you walk into a room
yeah,
that's what fame is like. I never had anything like that in my life, but I did have that feeling for a few years in the 80s and 90s that whenever I walked around, I could just feel heads turning.
mm.
And it was very strange when that stopped.
I
That
don't
was,
think it would ever stop
it
for
did stop.
you.
It did stop.
Oh,
I mean, it still happens a little bit, but there was a time when it happened all the time, and now it doesn't happen that much. And I remember walking down the street in London. It was about 1997 or 98, and I just realized, oh, it's not happening. Oh, uh, I guess I'm not that kind of famous anymore. Which was quite sad because it was a recognition that my, you know, I never set out to make music to be unsuccessful. That was what I was trying to do with More of What You Are, was to sort of fill out that idea of this distillation. And I feel like, you know, if you look at like Samuel Beckett's prose, how he it was he pared it down to almost nothing, to the point where I'm not sure there was almost anything left. I think, and I think we have this. Sometimes we have this compulsion with our own work to want to get down to the purest version, and sometimes you forget that what actually makes you is not the essence. What actually makes you is the flowery stuff that you put around it, because the flowery stuff is your personality. I enjoy a project like that. That song took a couple of years to write, and I'm really happy with it. It's the lyric that I'm happiest of over the last few years. I'm not sure if I would say so for the entire song, but certainly for the lyrics that I've written, I feel like I got what I was grasping for with that one.
Do you ever feel like you need to rewrite songs?
I do sometimes. For example, to CV, the first line of the verse after the first chorus, it should be a repetition of the first line in the song. I shouldn't say she took her mother's car. It should have just be she drove her mother's car both times. It would be much better if it was drove both times. So I sing it that way now.
So I'll leave you with two questions we usually ask. The first one is, how would you describe your music in food form?
Oh, in food form. That is fun. Oh, when people say, how would you describe your music? My usual response is, that's your job. In food form. Well, I think the problem with that is that I'm going to be optimistic. So let me think. Yeah.
It could also be in drink form.
Yeah, I might be thinking drink. I'm thinking, okay, so I'd like to think my music is a cocktail called the Toronto, which is whiskey with Fernet Branca, bitters, but the ideal version of it also has a little bit of what's that stuff made with wormwood?
Are you thinking of absinthe?
Absinthe, yeah. So it has just a little bit of absinthe on the rim. So the first thing you get is the absinthe.
And my last question, because the magazine's called What's My Scene? What is your scene?
My scene. I guess my scene is still the circle of friends that I have from doing music over the years, who I call up when I'm not sure if a song is any good or not. About 4 or 5 of them around the world, but
yep.
That's all I've got left of a scene.
I think it's excellent. Thank you so much, and I look forward to seeing you on tour in Australia.
I look forward to it too, and if you see me, please say hello.
I will. Thank you so much. Bye, Lloyd. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.